Hello everyone watching at home, we are Adelaide Eternal. We're bringing you round 5 of our recent Highlander tournament. So I am Sarven McLinton and I'm in the booth here with Beckett Wolfe.
G'day guys.
So this is round 5. We have Luke McGlaughlin on the right and he is on Zoo. You might have seen him in, what round was that? Round 2?
Round 2, I think.
Round 2. And then we have James Arthur on the left and he is on the Grixis control list that you've probably seen going around quite a bit. It's
There are a few of them at
There's
this
a few
tournament.
of them at this tournament, yeah. A lot of...
I think there are actually maybe 5.
Yeah, I think it was a good 4
It
or
was
5.
you, me, James Arthur,
and
Cameron
McTernan.
McTernan,
Yep.
and there was another bloke on blue-black, which didn't have the red, but
That's right. Well, the Grixis,
similar-ish, yeah.
the maybe we'll have a look at his list first. So James Arthur's list is up now, and this is essentially it's quite a few cards different from the Sarv's Value Train, Kess Pile. We had so many names for this. It's quite a few cards different, and James and I were chatting about it because we had the chance to jam in the final round as well, and he was saying how he hadn't really picked up his deck for a while, and so there's quite a lot of new tech that he wants to add into it. So we chatted about that a lot, and one of them was Kess. You know, I was like, I was really worried about you playing Kess, and then he was like, Kess, I got to read this card, and then we had this real funny moment where we realised he wasn't yet playing it because it's brand new. It's only been out for how long has it been? Like a month, 2 months or something?
Yeah, it's in a commander deck.
Yeah, maybe a month or two. So
I saw someone played in Legacy.
Yeah, it's
I don't know if that's correct, but it's definitely very, very good in Highlander.
Yeah.
It feels like Jace the Mind Sculptor, but not a point, and it can kill Jace the Mind Sculptor because you swing at it.
I think you just summed it up there. That's exactly what Kess is.
I don't think it's as good as Jace, but I think
No.
in certain scenarios, it feels like you're getting the same value off Jace, and you just get this body that you can beat face with.
And the times that you feel like Kess is Snapcaster, like you drew a Snapcaster Mage every turn. No, actually, sorry. Better comparison is you go to your turn and you have a flipped Jace Telepath Unbound that -3s every turn.
That's it.
That's essentially what it is.
And it also switches on burn. Like, the list keeps going. It also switches on burn spells in your graveyard more because you've also opened up to this more aggro where you can go like, Chain Lightning you, swing 3, Chain Lightning you, and suddenly it's 9 damage all at once.
Yeah, I did that so many times on this tournament, especially confluencing for 6, and then later on Kessing confluence for 6 again, swing for 3. It's such a good card. So yeah, James and I had a good banter about that afterwards, and safe to say he's adding Kess to the deck. Let's switch over to Luke McGlaughlин's list. So you will have seen that in round 2. There's also a deck tech going around, which we'll link at the end of the video as well, in the 7-minute 7-point series, which talks about one of the versions of Zoo. This one's the double Mox version, and it's hyper aggro, really, really strong. And you've seen Luke leverage the burn spells really effectively against ramping opponents. So we'll see exactly how the burn spells go here. Most likely, they're going to be going to the face.
Let's check it out.
All right, so the players are... So Luke has shuffled... Okay, yeah. Players have dealt their 7. Here we go. Let's have a look. James has got the slow draw. Oh, this is when you feel like, I want to taste every card. That feeling, that satisfaction where you go, yes, and it's a keep. I love that feeling. So yeah, he's got a Creeping Tar Pit in there, evasive action or something, some such. So he's got an interactive hand, and it looks like he's keeping. Yep. So it's Luke. Luke just draws a lightning bolt there, I think, or some form of burn spell. Always good when your opponent's on Creeping Tar Pit as their win con. I've had my Creeping Tar Pit, not had the fear of activating my Creeping Tar Pit in the face of any kind of removal spells.
Yeah, something tells me James Arthur will most likely be dead by the time he's at the stage where he's activating a tar pit.
4 mana, activate tar... Oh, sorry, I'm dead. Oh, man. Now, this is a real game right now. This is a Harsh Mentor on turn 1 off the Mox Emerald. And there's a reason why that Emerald is 3 points, because it does lead to degenerate openings like this.
That's it. Sometimes it's just in your hand, and you're like, why do I care about another land drop? And sometimes... You get a turn 1 Harsh Mentor.
And James has evasive action in hand, and unfortunately, once he cracks that fetch land, it will only counter for 1, or no, 2, if he can get... it's like a mini mana leak, right? Oh, is a memory lapse in there as well?
Not
Or
sure.
is
I
that
think
evasive action?
I think it's
We'll
definitely
find out
evasive
soon
action.
enough. Yeah. I'm second guessing myself here now.
So
This is the Sky Shroud guy that is a 2/3 basically.
It's like
your
Kurt
opponent
Ape,
has
right?
it's basically your opponent has a non-basic. He's a Kurt Ape. And masterfully playing around miscalc or something like that. And here's the fetch land. Harsh Mentor, savage.
I've seen Harsh Mentor
3
in,
damage off a fetch basically
in a
total.
few vintage lists in Blue Red Delver. People trying it out. Don't know if it's still around, but people were definitely playing around with it, and just really, really strong. Obviously, there's so many activated abilities, and he's most likely going to get a trigger.
Exactly. There's times when he's just a grizzly bear, and there's times when he does your opponent like 6 damage. It's really, really good. Or turns off their combo. They can't actually time bolt into infinite turns or something.
Yeah,
just because of the.
That's a really good point. There's a lot of combo decks that require an activation, and he switches that off. So being able to be a burn or aggro zoo / burn player that can interact with combo in any way and respects it. They're paying 4 life for a snuff out.
4 life to snuff out the guy after having to lose 2 more life off the Harsh Mentor trigger on the fetch land.
So he's played the Watery Grave in tapped, but obviously then he gets the swamp, so he's able to do it. Ashiok's
really, really good in the creature matchup. So he goes to 5 and flips 3 cards.
I don't think
there's
milling's
no
going to do
creatures
much.
there. No, I don't think I saw a creature there. So that makes it a bit hard. Did you see how masterfully Luke played around miscalculation? He's just like, if I can afford to play around your counter spells, I may as well just deploy 1 threat, 1 little 2/3. I'm not going to get wrathed away, you can't Toxic Deluge for value. I'm just going to have maybe 1 to 2 dudes.
Or his hands full of burn.
In which case he's basically won the game already.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You've got the Sky Shroud bloke. The
Sky Shroud bloke. Take him to 9. Yeah. And that's 3 burn spells. And that's a shock, I assume. Gore Clan.
I don't think
Rampager.
I've ever seen Gore Clan hardcast.
Oh, man.
He's most always
strong.
just
Blood Rushed.
And how strong is the Blood Rush? Because it can't be
so
countered.
Good. You can stifle burn it.
Yes, you can, but you cannot.
No,
you cannot counter it. It's so good, but I mean, there's a bit of versatility there.
Oh, look at that! James really needed to hit a creature off that to provide a blocker the following turn, but he didn't, and that's going to be really critical. This is a swing for click. Yep, click and draw phase. If it's a bunch of burn, it just gets unloaded into his face. But if it's not burn, then this might be. Okay, so it's 2 for...
Whoa.
Tarka's command.
So it's going to be 3 to the face, pump my guys, and then just trample over for 5, right?
Yeah. So I assume that the pump goes to the...
Yeah, that's it. I mean, those spells in Luke's hand don't really do much here, but he's already got enough. His Gore Clan swings for 5, putting James down to 1, and the Sky Shroud's actually now a 3/4, so Click doesn't even trade with it.
Well, it is... Yeah, this is solid. So look at that. Man, this is strong. So there is a counter represented by the Atarka's command, I assume. I assume the modes were 3 to face and counter on my guy.
Blokes, yeah.
So that's
that's all it. I mean, Damnation here is probably the only thing he could have, but I can't imagine he's running that main board.
Not in the main board, but even Toxic Deluge is not an out. But that's it.
That's where he wants Fiery Confluence. Is he running Fiery Confluence? Is that one of the new cards that you were talking about that you want?
Yeah, it's a new card. So I was telling him...
Doesn't actually hit Gore Clan, mind you.
Yeah, I was telling him how you go Confluence them for 6, Snapcaster Confluence. Or you go Confluence, Kess Confluence. There's so many ways to close a game out in Kess Control. But here it would have been a decent draw. You just want as many wrath effects as possible. But that just goes to show how extremely aggressive and consistent the Zoo decks can be. This was a game with a Mox where, we were talking about how Moxen can swing a game when they're drawn in the opening turn, but at the end of the day, most points can swing a game.
I think that's a really good point. I mean, there's plenty of matches against Zoo where you just can't beat it if it's got that opener Mox. And I was talking to Luke, and he was saying he actually really doesn't like double Mox in opening hand. It's almost too much mana, and he doesn't need it. He'd rather just have 1 Mox, 1 land, and then gas. That's the perfect.
Dude's burn.
That's the perfect hand. He doesn't want the second the second Mox all the time. But anyway, going to sideboards here, James Arthur, he's got Perish.
Perish is strong, but it sometimes doesn't hit the
No, that's
Porcelain
right.
Legionnaire and that little 2/3
Or
non-basic
Goblin
guy.
Guides and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want to be facing a bunch of red hasty guys and have Perish.
But
as a
sometimes you
sideboarded
just got
card.
to overload on as many 3-mana Wrath effects.
He
as
doesn't
you can.
have Damnation at all. He's got Engineered Explosive, which again I think is a little bit slow and a little bit narrow in against
Against
Zoo.
most things. But
Against
against Zoo, you do it for 1
Mm.
and activate it on turn 2 or when you're on a draw, and often nets you 2 creatures.
So he's got Threads of Disorder, which I imagine will come in. He can steal a 2/3 and hopefully keep chumping another 2/3 or just trade.
Yep. The dream situation is Threadsing Tarmogoyf, right?
Mm.
But it doesn't always happen. But usually you get something that can just chump and buy you more turns into the late game.
Naturally, Anger of the Gods will come in and be the perfect sweeper.
Oh, yeah. Every time you look at this, the Kess Control versus Zoo or any other aggro matchup, you're basically always going, oh, I wish I had Anger of the Gods. Like, that's the thing you're looking for. You're looking for Anger of the Gods off the top, you know? So these cards were very fast, but Luke showed us the cards in and cards out. All I could see was some kind of Egyptian card.
One question for you, Sarv. Does James Arthur want to keep in Snuff Out and Dismember, or is that too much life? Because obviously, it's a creature deck, and they're cheap ways, very, very cheap, 1 mana and 0 mana respectively, ways of killing creatures, which is exactly what you want to be doing against Zoo. But it's a huge amount of life. Is that where James wants to be?
Yep, it's a really good question. Now, when you look at the cards that you're taking out, if there's no other choices, then sure, you can take out one of your, personal burn removal spells. But at the end of the day, if you can overload on removal spells, keep all your removal spells in, take out your dirtily cards, and put in more removal spells in the form of Anger of the Gods and Perish, you just simply run them out of dudes. If you run them out of dudes and your life total is still 9, they can't really pressure you. So here's a Gataxian Probe
He's
off
paying
mana.
the mana, which you don't see very often, but I think it's probably good.
Oh, it's a
got
Mox
the
hand with a
Emerald.
Tarmogoyf. Oh. Yep, Tarmogoyf will be an early beater. But actually, no, Ken Ra will come in first, right? Ken Ra. That's his name is Ken. Kenneth Ra.
Well, I'm not sure because the Kenra am I right in saying Kenra enters and
It's haste. It's got haste.
got
Yeah, it's
haste.
2/1 haste. So just getting early beats off Mox land. Wait, there's no red source. Uh-oh.
so it is going to be Goyf, which isn't it's not terrible.
So Kenra cannot come out. We just get turn 1 Goofy. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No,
I mean,
it's fine. He's a 1 for
play
now.
a fetch land, play a burn, and suddenly it's swinging for quite a lot.
Absolutely. And was I correct in saying that was a mental misstep in hand as well?
Yeah, I think I saw Mental Misstep in both their hands almost.
Yeah. Well, when they attempt to interact, if you say did something and then mental misstep, see this ponder or something is coming out. Let's see what happens. Oh no, it looks like a 1 is about to be cast, which is a snap mental misstep.
But speaking of all that snuff out question,
Oh, there's the red source.
oh, that's nice.
I assume it's a red source. It's just kind of some kind of shiny new thing that I don't know what it is.
It's Arid Mesa, Sarven.
Okay, so I'll believe you. I'll just believe you. It makes his Tarmogoyf bigger, putting a land in the graveyard, but he's also got that misstep. So at any point in time, he can bump it up a little bit more. And
Oh, isn't that cheeky?
cheeky, yeah, little cheeky jeeky when you need to be. Here's 3 for Kitchen Finks.
I think that's perfectly fine. No need to play the 2-drop when you can play something with a bit more power.
And it's a persistent threat. Am
It
I
is a
right?
very persistent threat. Very good against
So-
control.
Yeah. I mean,
Kitchen
you don't
Finks-
care about the life; you just care about a second
Yeah,
body.
I love it in a sideboard. I think it is in Luke's side, not his main.
Yeah,
It's got 3 power. It's very easy to cast because it's green, white, and 1. It persists against control, which requires them to have multiple removals, and against the mirror, it's fantastic life gain.
Yeah, and in Kess Control, you basically have no way to remove it cleanly except Anger.
Anger's about it.
Because exiling is the only thing you can do to cleanly. Otherwise, you're just spending multiple removal spells. It's really frustrating. Just frustrating card to deal with when
And
you're
you want to
controlling.
answer it. Well, now
Here's
that's
the way
a
that
good one.
that answers it in one go. Yep. So get rid of your Tarmogoyf, have a True Name Nemesis, basically stall out your offensive and be on 19. Pretty strong.
Does Luke have answers for True Name? Certainly not this early. I mean, most of the times, I would doubt Zoo would want to sideboard in.
You know what
a specific
is an answer? I don't know if he's playing it, but Skullcrack is an answer to True Name Nemesis.
How's that? I do know the answer, but so
it's
an interesting one, isn't it? Nice,
it's a
interesting interaction.
Sneaky little interaction.
Very cheeky.
You basically just bash your dudes at your opponent's face, and they have to block with them, and then you cast Skullcrack, and damage can't be prevented. So you get to actually deal damage to a protection from
Isn't
a guy.
That crazy?
But they have to block. Like, you can't block. They have. It's they have to not. Oh, so Mental Misstep on Wild Nacatl responded with Mental Misstep just to keep the Nacatl, and it looks like Luke is building a swarm now. And if he's able to build a critical mass of dudes, he's going to be able to beat in around the True Name. But the problem is, simultaneously, he could get wrecked by Anger of the Gods.
Well, that's right. The game's
you have no choice.
The game's stalling up. And I mean, how much damage is True Name already prevented just by being out?
Yeah. And it's going to prevent even more because he bought a whole nother turn with this Lightning Bolt. So it's turning... Its game is
really good opener from Luke to have that Mox draw and to have like a Mental Misstep backup for your bloke. It was cheap and it was efficient, but it's turning sour.
Yeah, and I mean we have been talking about how the Moxen placed at 3 is it's a number that is entirely fair. They're totally playable. They're just not as broken when you have those decks with 3 Moxen in them, consistently drawing a Mox every single game or every second game. But here is a Mox draw and not actually winning, and it's all because of a single point, which is True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, but a point it is, and it's definitely a point for this reason. But look, it's a testament to Zoo that even now, I think James is pulling away, but even now. It's not a sure thing.
No.
The fact that Luke's going to be able to put in a real good position here. He's going to get in for at least 5.
Yep. So there we go. We go for 5 damage. We get to kill Wild Nacatl. And
he certainly doesn't want any more lands. He probably just wants to draw a bunch of burn. Does Atarka's Command work in the same way as Skullcrack?
It doesn't, I'm afraid. No. I don't think Atarka's Command has the
wording?
Damage can't be prevented. I don't know.
I think it says if you would gain life, perhaps.
Yeah, it's not the damage can't be prevented type of thing. But this is a dismember. This is a dismember for the full mana cost, so that you don't have to end up losing any life, which is a nice way to optimize the turn.
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, I guess dismember can be quite. It's probably worth it because even a 3 mana counter spell is probably still decent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. 3 mana, get rid of a dude.
And he was seeing Serum Visions, probably quite an old school list to play. But he's got Opt, mind you, so an Opt's a new one. Yeah. Relatively, sort of.
New old. It's technically old. It's an invasion.
It's had a
facelift. It's had a
facelift. Yeah.
Yeah. So Atarka's Command says your opponents can't gain life this turn. So it doesn't say can't be prevented. So it's very specifically Skullcrack, which is a reason for the burn decks to run Skullcrack. But unfortunately, you can't really fit Skullcrack into a deck that like Zoo. It's just got better cards for the niche scenario of killing True Name.
Yeah, it needs to be able to kill creatures to get the damage through, which is I think what we were talking about in Luke's early game in the first couple of rounds. And
now, do you think that Luke did the early swing there with the dudes, as opposed to waiting until he built up a full force because he knew that it's only a matter of time before a Kess control deck can actually just wrath the board?
It's a really good question. He doesn't have Damnation, but Luke doesn't know that, and he can assume that he's not going to want a Damnation versus with his own True Name out, but he probably will want to Anger the Gods. And Luke could definitely be scared of Anger the Gods.
Well, this is a Thoughtseize. So Thoughtseize obviously loses 2 life yourself, which is always precarious against burn, because right now the only out that Luke has is burn. Like, he needs to actually literally burn his opponent's face because he's not going to get through that True Name Nemesis. Thoughtseize is, if your opponent didn't play anything and he was on 5 lands, you probably don't need to Thoughtseize them, right?
Ghoul Clan Rampager.
Corklian Revenant.
That's what I'm.
Yeah,
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, that's Stephen. Blood Rush is real.
Maybe Bulk
but here,
Jason.
6
Gorklian.
mana, and you eternalize Ken Ra.
Can you explain that to us?
So eternalize is basically he comes back as a mummy. So I think I basically summarized it enough there, right? Or do you in more detail? He becomes a 4/4, but he's basically the same dude. So he still has haste and all that stuff.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's strong, and you can see how Luke was mana flooded there, but it was relevant that he had eternalize.
Look,
in the
if you're
graveyard.
mana flooded in Zoods, it's never good. But being able to go like bang 4 damage to the face, out of nowhere. Can definitely close the game.
Yeah.
And look,
what are your thoughts on
turn.
swinging to Jace? So you smash Jace in the face, smash Jace, kill him.
I think so. Jace will
you
run away with the game. You just got to hope that. Okay,
but look at this 10 Street Hooligan destroys an artifact, and James is like, oh man. Yeah. But, you drew a card off Baleful, but you'd rather have the Death Touch blocker. But 10 Street got value there, and that was credit to Luke holding it in hand, because he knows that James has Batterskull and other, artifacts that he can target.
Yeah, I think Luke probably just wants a Figure of Destiny.
It's your Figure of Destiny. Figure of Destiny is a legit thing that you can want, because, sometimes you can turn your Kithkin into a warrior, and then the warrior turns into a spirit, or I don't know. I can't remember what creature types he becomes, but at the end, he becomes
an elemental or something?
a massive dude. He just
he's
becomes
like an 8/8 first strike
a
flying.
swole bro
It's ridiculous.
that flies over the top.
A massive gym bro.
Just when Kithkin get in the gym, they become a beast, right?
So why didn't he activate? Because you can do it the turn it drops, right? You pay, I think, 2
but
mana.
he can do it in end of turn.
Oh, is it not sorcery
it's
speed only? Oh,
yeah.
fantastic.
This guy, he gets swole fast.
He does get swole
He
fast.
can tank those protein shakes. Whenever you look at the
He's got 24-hour gym membership. Anytime fitness
at the Kith gym, when you look at that little dude's art. Oh, that's right. Oh, Batterskull. Batterskull came out here. This is relevant. So in response, he's just pumping the Kithkin. If you look at the Kithkin's art, it's got pictures of him in the different stages of his evolution. How much do the background, slightly
get uglier and uglier?
Well, I was thinking it looks like that meme where you have, the picture of the guy in the foreground and the guy in the background, and, soon. Or you get the guy in the background and it's like, they laughed at me when I wore my blah. I laugh at them on their graves. That kind of meme. We'll show it on screen, but I can just see that as a meme. Anyway, we've got Kytheon just came out, who's basically Gideon, but he's on Theros, so his name's pronounced correctly, I guess. Everyone must have just bastard. He must have got so annoyed, all the kids at school teasing him, calling him Gideon. It's not how you pronounce my name. And then he just evolves, turns into a planeswalker.
So he needs to swing with multiple dudes.
This is a bash with Batterskull, gain some life, and he's just block with everything so that he can... And
you can
make indestructible.
Mana. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, Gideon.
Is it to another creature?
It's sticks and stones may break his bones, but he is indestructible.
He is indestructible.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, strong. So he gets to trade with the germ token, and it's forcing James to spend a whole lot of mana to equip it to True Name Nemesis.
Mind you, Batterskull and True Name.
Oh yeah.
If I was gonna
it's a real wombo.
If I was gonna equip any creature to a Batterskull, it wouldn't be a 0/0 gem. No. It would be if I could choose.
I'd prefer a 3/1 fish.
Oh, but he hasn't done that.
Okay. It's a blocker. This is a legit blocker.
Yeah,
it's totally correct, because you can just do it again next turn.
So the Kithian's Figure of Destiny's abilities cost 2 to level it up, and then 3 to level.
Is it
4
1
to level
one
up?
to level it up?
No, it's
then
2
3?
to level it up, and then 4, and then 6.
I think it's 1 to do the first one.
Okay, you're right. It's 1
but
and then 3.
you mean 2 as in like it's a split? That's what you mean. Like it's either red or white.
So you pay red or white, it levels. You pay red or white, red or white, red or white, it levels, and then 6 mana. So he's going to level up the end of turn.
Yeah, he's just going to indestructible. Yeah, Gideon doing work here.
I guess James just realizes that if he
just gain enough life that you just
get
so
to 30
far
life,
range.
you can't lose.
But
it's
can you not lose to Kithkin?
Flying
Swole bro?
I think the Swole bro. If anyone can do it, Swole bro can.
So he needs exactly how many red white mana? Is it 5 to do the last one. Is it 6? You said
6.
So he's got 1, 2, some kind of Egyptian land or some fancy schmancy something. Another one over here. Do you reckon he can fetch out enough to do it this turn?
I don't know. Does he have any more green-red manas? He runs Stomping Ground, surely. So he hasn't searched up Stomping Ground. So he can surely do it, right?
Well, Luke is managing the beats with the indestructible blocker, but eventually True Name Nemesis will get there. Eventually,
surely.
Yeah. I don't think the bro's going to be able to hit that hard over the top at 31
Luke's
life.
got Jitty though.
Well, he's got to answer True Name, right?
If he goes,
so how's he going to answer True Name?
Well, if he goes
race the True Name.
Kifkin is a huge bro.
Yeah.
Batterskull can no longer
give him a tiny little Japanese weapon that helps break swords and defend.
I think he's done.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. His schnitzel is well and truly fried.
Yeah, he's been fried.
So another bash. Now he has to decide: do you just chump against Tasiga so that you can spend all your mana to flip the Kithkin?
I'd want to flip my Kith. Mind you, 8/8 flying first strike Kith doesn't actually beat the.
Is it first strike or double strike?
It's first strike.
First strike. Oh, okay.
But it doesn't.
I got excited.
It doesn't beat the 8/9.
8/9 Batterskulling. Is it Tasiga reclining in his little chair inside the Batterskull's cockpit, basically? Flavor win. So that's just a chump block there with the Kitchen Finks, just to be able to activate.
I guess Luke wants to draw Jitty here, and then swing a critter with the Jit.
Yep.
So this is my way he gets out of it.
Yep.
He levels up figure here at the end of turn, draws Jit, swings some idiot with Jit, and then equips the Jit to the Figure of Destiny. And then Figure of Destiny gets to block and kill the Batterskull because he gets to pump his Figure of Destiny.
Okay.
And gets to block and kill the TAS.
Okay.
That's my way.
And
then he loses to True Name. And then he loses to True Name.
Yeah. So it all hinges on Jitter life gain, right? So he's having to shock here in order to get the correct color mana so that he can make his guy swell, right?
I think it's just game 3.
Well, yes. But
look at all that important information.
6, 1 swole bro ready to fly over the top. Here we go. And he needs to draw Jitter there, right?
That's it.
Yep. But he played to his outs. His outs were a swole bro with Jitter, and it didn't really work. But Ken Ra was quite good that game, right?
Was he?
Ken.
I think he was really good.
Yeah, the Eternalize was
he
relevant.
didn't win, but...
I mean, I guess the land flood, turning land flood into your advantage to basically cast a 4/4 haste is a nice way.
What have we learnt though? Because Luke land flooded and he drew the right cards you want when you do get land flooded, and he still got absolutely swellbroed. I mean, I think honestly, I think Luke probably would have carved that game up if Batterskull wasn't involved. Because he could race the True Name.
Yeah, absolutely. But James played it well, recognizing the fact that, as soon as your life is over a certain threshold, you're done. The game's done. Like, your opponent can't get back in this. And he got there, gained the life, and then was able to recognize that True Name Nemesis doesn't have to be on the D anymore.
So, do you think there's any changes to Sideboard Game 3? It looks like James is already presented.
He's presenting. Us control players always know how the value of passing that deck over as quickly as possible for Game 3. That tense Game 3.
But Luke's going to be on the play, and it's going to be pretty scary if Luke can have another one of those opening hand Moxes.
Oh, yeah.
But he's had opening hand Mox.
That's true. But it's always been Emerald specifically.
Yeah.
So, Ruby seems stronger, but, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, Emerald's strong. Real strong.
Emerald's strong. Famous words.
We're looking... we're splitting hairs over, this is a strong 97% of the time. The other one's strong 98% of the time, But it was a pretty quick mulligan there. So he's going straight down to 6. Whereas James is keeping. So, I mean, anytime a control deck keeps 7 on the draw, you got to be a bit worried. So 6. And okay.
Is that a force fill in James's
That's
hand?
down to 5. Let's have a look.
If it is force, I think it's pretty.
Jeez.
It's pretty good.
When you we'll go to 5 and get your first threat counted. Pretty.
It's not a force. It is a brainstorm.
All right. So this is Luke on 5. Let's see what the 5 is. Hopefully it's still an interactive game. Yeah, so keeping and scrying to the... We'll find out pretty shortly. Scry to the top. Bottom. Okay, got the fake, the pump fake bottom. So, that's right, didn't matter. We got to get Zergo. I like how James smiles. He's like, what is this card? Like, this stupid little 1 for a 2/2 can't block. It doesn't matter. You don't read it. You don't read the text box. You just go, I need to present a dude on turn 1. It's got to have 2 power. It's really important.
Duda.
1 mana Duda that has 2 power.
Savannah Lions. Yeah. Why not? That's Luke's deck. It's just Savannah Lions. How he described
the push.
It to me.
He pushed him off a ledge. Zergo went in a little bit too fast.
Yes,
Didn't even dash. Oh, Blood Rush.
Yum.
Not Blood Rush. That guy.
That guy, yeah.
You know what
I
I
mean.
mean.
Sitting there thinking of like, what's that ability
What's
called?
The ability? I don't know.
It's so
what
true.
Called. It's not even. It doesn't even have a name. It's just like.
No, it's just get mana.
Come in, get mana.
Yeah. It sounds like it should have a name.
Forget creatures, get mana.
Every single time there's like a new set, there's also like a new ability associated with it. So I think Sarven was just sitting there thinking like, what's that one called? Is it Delirium? Is that
red and green? When it's red and green in text box, it's probably Blood Rush. Gruel something.
Rush?
Yeah, but that 2/2, that bear is a real good bear. You know,
not just
given that it's a bear with a Tarmogoyf attached. It's as if you have Tarmogoyf in hand, play it for free.
It's good.
Goblin Guide.
It's a good 5.
Oh yeah. Like the deck mulls well.
It's not fair.
That's
it's not fair. You know, you mull to 5, you keep a rip-do hand, and then they've got push and misstep.
I'm all over control right now. I'm on James's side.
I mean, come on.
I'm feeling the delicious tears of sadness when you misstep a Goblin Guide.
That's not fair at all.
No
One
haste
mana
for you.
spells, right? They're efficient removals as well. Still far out. It's 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was that? Creature, instant,
Bash for
sorcery,
5.
land. Bang.
Bash for 5. It's it's a 3-turn clock with nothing else happening. Doesn't matter. Nothing else has to happen. It's just
there is
saying
no sorcery, so it's creature, instant.
He needs Perish. Like Perish would be a clean sweep here, and that's really what you want when someone's on a mulligan and you've traded 1 for 1 with their Goblin Guide and their Zergo, and then you Perish.
Yeah, if I was James,
it's Perish.
Oh.
It's the motherfucking Eagle Double G. Snoop Dogg. You know I'm mobbing with the D.R.E.
No.
I feel really, really bad for Luke, but also I like the taste of the tears.
I'm upset.
That's like when you Perish and they're both green. Oh man! And out comes the ape. It's a good ape though. It's a good foil ape. I like this one.
You know what would have been fair is if he had Perish, but
one of them wasn't green. Or something.
Luke's had like
and
Gobbo
it's
out.
Tombstalker. Oh man, yeah. Luke is feeling it. Yep.
Oh, it's not on.
So there's something mismatched there between a 2/3 vanilla and a 5/5 French vanilla, i.e. flying.
Looks like why aren't I playing 2 mana 5/5?
How is this allowed? Yeah, Luke needs to somehow magically flash in some threats at the end of turn. Oh, yep. Oh, look at that. It's clearly not even worth the points. It gets Inquisitioned. But the bluff was there. The bluff was real. Oh, there's another one. Replacement Ape. So he got Diabolic Edicted, but he's got a replacement Ape.
I don't.
Oh man.
I think that's pretty well done.
That's all she wrote. I mean, that Vidalcan Shackles was just going to gain control of the dude.
Look, if you had a multi 5, you'd want it to be.
Feels bad. I mean, it was a good 5. I really liked that 5. That was good, but it just didn't pan out right.
Is he on 5 blocks?
Is this River Boa?
I love River Boa.
I think, he definitely runs Price. Yeah, he definitely runs
Price of Progress.
Price is relevant here.
Price is really relevant.
Yeah.
Oh man, I really hope Luke just rips Price.
Well, it won't be lethal, but if it was, then you just get to do that. You get to draw, and then you get to go to the next game. Game 4. So thank you for watching. That was an exciting match. As much as it became one-sided, it was a contest. It was a real contest. So we're Adelaide Eternal, and we'll be back with the final round.
See you then.